So if you notice as a contractor or service-based business owner that your marketing probably feels a lot harder lately, like it feels like it's more expensive, it's more competitive, maybe less predictable, well, the frustrating part too is you're probably actually doing all the things right. So in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down exactly why marketing is gonna feel harder in 2026, and it has nothing to do with the amount of effort you're putting into marketing. It has to do with the environment. And what I mean is we're gonna cover 3 big shifts that's happening online. So first, how AI inserted itself between you and the buyer. Second, why your competition has matured faster. And third, how homeowners' behaviors has actually changed when it comes to buying. So once you understand these 3 shifts, the frustration is going to make sense to you and you'll see what you need to change. So the old model of search and how people search online, okay, is usually happen like this. So you have a homeowner first, okay, and that homeowner is going to go to the #1 place to search for things, and that is Google. Okay, and they still do, right? It's still relevant. And usually when they go to Google, they find websites. So then they go over to your website and then they start perusing through there. Maybe they don't like it or they do like it. Then they go to another website until they find what they're looking for. And then they call your company or business, right? So this is the old model. The new model is homeowner searches on Google, right? Or they search on another AI platform like ChatGPT. And then what Google's doing now is giving them a summary to answer their questions. Because a lot of times is when you did SEO before or you're doing Google ads, you're going by like one keyword. Now everything's about like queries. Questions. Are you answering the questions people are asking? So you have to go deeper into buyer psychology. You have to go deeper into the questions and research of what people are asking to get the answers they need before they decide, right, and make a decision. They're getting answers before they even call without having to call like a bunch of people, so it's saving them time. And then they've formed an opinion about what direction they want to take based on all of this information they've gathered ahead of time. And then, just then, they may call you, right? So AI has inserted themselves where it used to be Google to website. Now it's Google to AI summary. Let me think about it. Let me have it research for me some more. Give me answers that are reputable, right? Because if it's on there, it's probably reputable. And then I'm going to think about what it is, then I have an opinion. All right, so what does this mean? It means that you're going to have more zero-click searches, meaning people actually clicking on your website. They're going to get the information they need and they're going to move on, or they're going to search in a different way, or they're going to ask another question before they even make it to your site. 2, AI Overview answers questions, right? We just talked about this. They're answering what people are asking. How much does it cost on average for this? How long does it take to get this done? They're asking those questions. Buyers are becoming pre-educated before calling. Right? So they're educating themselves before they even call because they're getting the answers that they want and they're not having to ask anybody. And then fewer discovery conversations are happening as you as a contractor. So with all of that, the buyers are just super educated before they even come to you. So they're going to be knowledgeable. What you want to make sure though is that they're getting the knowledge from your online presence. Okay. So the way to look at it is, like you can get a bunch of traffic to your website, but it means nothing without authority. Are you the one that they're getting the answers from? Are you showing authority? Clicks on your website don't equal trust anymore. You have to be trusted in order for AI to cite your business for people to actually go to it. And then visibility is not the same as control anymore. That's all done through all the AI summaries. So this makes it instantly clear what has changed when it comes to buyer behaviors, and it's AI just inserting themselves, right? Just right in the middle of buyers' decisions. So they're no longer coming to you and asking questions. They're getting the answers before they come to you. That's why it's so important to build out an online digital presence. And even like when we're doing our SEO strategies, like a lot of times anymore, it's not as much about like driving rankings and stuff sometimes. Sometimes we'll be like, we just need to clean up your online presence for like 3 to 6 months and get you settled online. It's going to drive a ton more clicks because maybe the search volume is low. But at least when people do find your business, it's reputable and people are going to reach out and give you a call. Okay. So second shift. The bar just got a lot higher for everybody. Now, what do we mean by this? It used to be in 2020, you just had to show up online. Hey, here's my business. I'm on Google. Look, you found me on Google. Therefore, we're reputable. You can call me. You can trust me to get a call. Okay. And then as the years went by, right, going through, and we went through this big boom, right, for COVID. Okay. COVID happened here. Right? That's why I'm pretty much calling this here. So COVID happened. We went all the way through 2026 and things got pretty gravy. But now with AI in the past 12 months, it's not so gravy anymore. It's a requirement to be strategically positioned online so that you're going to be trusted. So once again, I say this all the time in my content. It's now a trust economy and not just like, hey, I show up and I'm here economy. People have to trust your business. You have to show authority, all right? So what was happening? Fewer people were running ads in 2020, whether it be Google, Meta, whatever. People were just spending less because they didn't have to. People were just calling and getting stuff done. Money was coming in. from COVID stuff, right? There was just a big boom in the contracting space. Just basic websites worked. Local service ads were cheap. Everybody loved hopping in on local service ads. But then, of course, they kept hopping in. And then less tracking was needed. Okay, but now, most everybody's running an ad. All the time I get calls, or messages, hey, what would it be to run ads? How long till I get a return on investment on my Google ads? I'm like, I don't know. How good can you sell? But anyway, so most people now are spending money on advertising and more. And it's not just your local area, your market. You're competing against big brands that are taking real estate in searches and things like that. Clean optimized sites are more common now. So more and more people are paying the money to get optimized sites because they know it's important in order to do that. And it's clean and it's clear and it's exactly what needs to be said. Local service ads are saturated. So it depends on your market, right? And your service. It's not always saturated, but more and more people are hopping onto it and going through the process because they see how it's a pay-per-call system. It's a high intent lead. It's typically cheaper than a pay-per-click ad. And when they call is only when you pay. And if it's the wrong service, the wrong area, you get your money back. It's one of the best lead systems out there, and that's why everybody hopped on it. And so it's going to be more saturated. You can't control that even with budget. And then better tracking now. So more people, there's softwares like WhatConverts and CRMs that now track every lead. And so if you're not tracking your leads and where they're coming from, you can't optimize your online presence. You can't optimize your ads. So all that stuff's in place in order to do that. Okay. Presence used to win, but now positioning wins. Authority wins. So if you look average, guess what? You're going to perform average. That's why it's so important to be professional. So if you're one of those people that's just looking for the next lead, right? We tend not to work with those types of companies because yes, in the beginning, you got to get more leads in the door, right? You got to get business in, you got to get money coming in. And I 1000% get it. I get it. If you just look average and you're just looking for, I just want the middle of the road customer. We just service everybody. You're not really looking to elevate your business, make it more professional, then you're going to look average like everybody else and you're always going to struggle. So you always got to make sure that you're looking to perform above average and not just average because then you're going to fail. All right, shift number 3 is the buyer has evolved. Okay, so old buyer would be like, I got a problem. Something's wrong with my roof or something's wrong with my AC or my heater or I got plumbing leaked, whatever. I'm going to call somebody. That was it. That's it. I got a problem. Let me call. I'm going to get all my answers I need in the call. Now, I got a problem. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to go online. I'm going to get AI. I'm going to ChatGPT. Dude, I search everything on ChatGPT now. I'm just like, hey, find the best company for this, and this. And it looks it up. And then I'll do a little more research. And I'm going to compare. I need you to compare this company to that company. What's the difference? Oh, yeah, they don't have a good website. It's not quite as trusting. They don't have as many reviews. I don't even know if they're in business. And then I'm going to validate that. I'm going to validate my answer based on all this research. And then I'm going to call. So all these steps are happening before all this has happened. Behavior changes happen because they're going to be reading 20 plus reviews, right? We do this on Amazon. I do this. What's product has more reviews or what's, seller has more reviews. I'm going to read those reviews. I'm going to get the product descriptions, right? That's why Amazon spent a lot of time on paying people to do product reviews with video because they want to see it before they buy. Same thing here. I want to be reading reviews and seeing photos of projects and stuff that you've done. I'm going to be checking the photos. I'm going to be comparing companies. I'm going to be watching videos. I'm going to be looking for red flags on why I shouldn't call you. And all this is happening as a buyer now because they can get this information online. And if they feel like you're not going to put the time and effort into putting it up online and having this presence, then they're just not going to call your company. You're going to be losing out on a ton of money and a ton of jobs. So the key takeaways, okay, is they just don't trust fast anymore. They don't trust to call you and like, I trust that you've got it all squared away. So your traffic is going to be colder. Decision cycles are going to be longer because they're really thinking about it. They're having the time to research. So you have to be able to nurture those leads. And then trust requires more touch points than it used to. So you have to be ready to send more texts, send more emails, send more follow-ups, send great content, show them somebody else's work that you did. Great company, Project Map, it has a interactive map and a review platform you can put on your website that people can see the stuff directly from there. It's amazing. They can see projects. They can click on it. They can see where it's located. Absolutely amazing. I'll put their link in the video below, but dude, that's huge in helping build that trust fast because, like I said, longer sales cycle, people just are less trusting and they're going to take a longer time to make a decision. So why does it feel harder, right? You may feel like you're doing all the right stuff, and a lot of it's probably recommended things that happened, 2-3 years ago. Even now, how we're building websites has changed in the past 12 months, so it just is what it is. So one, you got the AI layer. Okay, AI has inserted itself into the buyer to be able to look for information online. 2, you've got stronger competition online. You got people that are actually putting effort into it now, more people investing into the online presence because they see that they're going to lose out on jobs. You have younger owners stepping up into the businesses, investing in this stuff here, understanding that it needs to be done, and so you're losing to the stronger competition because it's because of the authority side that AI is looking for. They show up with more authority online, they put the money and time and effort into that, and then so they're just going to keep being recommended over and over again more and more than your company or business. And you just got smarter buyers. Okay, you got people that are doing the research. They're like, I read it on ChatGPT because it did the research for me and told me what I needed to do or think about. And that way, hey, I know what to expect. I know what to call. I know about what it's going to cost me. They're just smarter. They know what to expect when they call your company most of the time, right? So this has created more friction for your business. Okay, and that's what's going to make it feel harder. It's the struggle of continuing to be an entrepreneur and grow a business. So how do you set up for success? Okay, once again, most of the time you could pick one channel and get plenty of phone calls. You'll be like, we're just going to do social media content, have a good website, we're good. Or we're just going to do Google ads and we're good, right? It doesn't happen anymore. Okay, you have to build a visibility. Most of the time you could pick one channel. I need to have a website that not only can convert, but answers all the questions people have. It's set up for AI to read the site, and it's optimized through your online profiles to make sure that you are showing up everywhere properly. I have another video about this that we just did. Look on the screen, we'll put it up there. It'll talk you through all this AI stuff. And then search, right? How people search. Once again, we talked about this. AI is inserted in there. They're more educated, but you have to show up and search. And then you have to follow up. Are you following up with people? Okay. And then are you running paid ads to drive more traffic to the company? You're going to have to end up doing all of these things here, right, to be relevant now in 2026. And that's pretty much why it feels harder, because there's just more time, more effort, or more money to show up to get the customers you need. But if you're charging right and you're putting the time and effort into building your online digital presence and doing it strategically over a period of time, not trying to do it all at one time, I promise you it won't be quite as hard for you, and you'll be able to win in 2026 and, of course, beyond. So as always, if you need help with marketing and advertising your contracting business or your service-based business, I got a link below. You can always book a call with me or somebody on one of our team and just kind of walk through a strategy, what it look like for your company. Obviously, if you're doing less than $1 million a year, keep following the channel because there's a ton of content on here to help get you to that position. And if you're doing $1 million plus, right, and you're ready to start scaling this out, building your online presence, obviously reach out. We'll be glad to help. Click a link, booked on our calendar, and we'll get you growing in the next year.